Although the boys' bodies have not been found, the prosecution has said that evidence, including interviews with the West's other children, indicates the boys were killed in September of 2020, 3 months before the West reported them missing. The West are charged with second-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and other offenses and face life terms in prison if convicted.
April 18th, 2023. The trial resumed with prosecutor Eric Smith playing more surveillance footage of the West home on the night the boys were reported missing, December 21st, 2020. Bakersfield Police Detective Paul Hernandez, who examined the footage, is on the stand. Smith has begun playing another video from the same camera. A vehicle drives up to the West residence and 2 people move from the property to it. The people go back to the West property and the car drives away. Then the West van's lights turn on and it drives away. A vehicle then parks at the West property and its lights remain on. Another vehicle, apparently a police car, drives past. These appear to be the moments when Cal City police were alerted of the situation and began searching. There has been movement in the West backyard, someone with a flashlight or other light source walking around. More vehicles have arrived. A light is seen shining all over the back area of the West property. That clip has ended. Smith said he has no more questions, and Alexia Torres-Stallings, lead counsel for Jacqueline West, has begun cross-examination. Torres-Stallings asked how many times Hernandez watched the video during his assigned 24-hour period. He said once or twice. Hernandez said he looked for movement, both around the West home and surrounding area. Torres-Stallings is asking about the moments between 5 and 6 a.m. Torres-Stallings is playing one of the clips. She points to a light on the home and asks if it had been on from day to night. Hernandez said he's not sure, and it's difficult to tell if it's on or off. Torres-Stallings asked if he noted another light, which she says was on the chimney. Hernandez said he did not note that light in his report. A vehicle backs up from the residence across from the West home. Torres-Stallings asked Hernandez if he noted that in his report. He's checking his report. Hernandez testified he did not refer to the vehicle in his report. Moving the video forward, Torres-Stallings asked Hernandez if he notices some orb lights in the background. He said yes. 2 lights flicker in the background, then disappear. Hernandez said he didn't note them in his report. Hernandez said he didn't note another light Torres-Stallings pointed out, or a vehicle passing by. Torres-Stallings continues to fast forward the footage and point out more lights. Another car drives by in the background, and Hernandez says he didn't note it in his report. The West van pulls up and someone gets out. Hernandez said it appears the person walks toward the street, then back to the residence. Torres-Stallings ended her questioning, and now Victor Nasser, an attorney for Trezell West, is cross-examining Hernandez. The detective said he did not go to the area seen in the video. His job was to review the videos. Nasser has displayed an overhead map of the area. Hernandez said he's not familiar with the roads east of the West residence, doesn't know if anyone made a trip out there to check up on things seen in the video. Hernandez has been excused. Smith is going to play footage taken outside the Bakersfield Police Department on December 19, 2020. There were technical issues with playing this video last week. The camera faces Truxton Avenue and South H Street. Smith finished playing the video and has called Detective Kyle McNabb to the stand. McNabb is with the BPD, has been there 7 years. McNabb was tasked with getting surveillance footage from December 12, 2020 at the Gasco Food Mart at 430 East California Avenue, Superior Grocers at 1115 Union Avenue, and the McDonald's on Wheat Patch Avenue. Smith displayed an overhead map showing the locations of the Gasco and Superior Grocery. McNabb identified the locations. McNabb has been shown a series of screenshots, still images taken from the Gasco surveillance footage. The footage is from 2:35 p.m. on December 19, 2020. Still images from Jacqueline West buying something in the store have been displayed, followed by images of Trezell West at the counter. Video footage is being played for the court. McNabb said it's from the interior of Gasco, showing the entrance out toward the pumps. McNabb has identified a woman he believes was Jacqueline West at the counter, then leaving the store. Trezell West enters the store, McNabb said while watching the footage. He walks out of the camera frame. Trezell goes to the counter of the business. He leaves the store. Another video is being shown with a clear image of the interior of the store, showing the line for the cashier. Jacqueline is in line, McNabb says. In another video, Trezell is seen waiting in line. After Gasco, McNabb went to Superior Grocers on Union to retrieve surveillance footage. The West white van appears in the footage. Smith is playing a video showing the parking lot of Superior Grocers. The camera faces north. Union Avenue is to the east, and California Avenue is to the north. Court is in session for 15 minutes. Back in session with the video from Superior Grocers play. The West van parks in the lot. Detective McNabb identifies Trezell West getting out of the van and walking toward the store. McNabb said he believes a man walking toward the van from the store is Trezell West. The man McNabb identified as Trezell West puts a cart away and gets in the driver's seat of the van, which backs out of its space and drives out of the parking lot, goes east on California Avenue, and then south on Union Avenue. At 356 Weed Patch Highway, there is a McDonald's where McNabb went for surveillance footage. He said he attempted to review interior footage. There was no exterior footage. McNabb testified a crime scene technician was unable to download the footage. McNabb testified he didn't see Orrin or Orson on any of the video surveillance footage obtained from the businesses. Smith ended his questioning, and Victor Nasser is about to start cross-examination. McNabb said he was tasked to retrieve the footage by his supervisors. Nasser is asking about the process of getting the footage. McNabb testified a crime scene technician downloaded the video from the Gasco. McNabb said there was no exterior footage available at the Gasco. As to Superior Grocers, there was interior footage that he viewed showing Trezell West in the store, but they weren't able to get it despite multiple emails with corporate, McNabb said. McNabb testified he was never provided with the videos despite requesting them multiple times. Nasser ended his questioning. McNabb has been excused. Detective Phillip Ricardi has been called to the stand. He's with the BPD. On January 8, 2021, he was tasked with obtaining surveillance footage at 820 Cottonwood Road. There's a Dollar General at that location. Prosecutor Eric Smith has displayed an overhead map showing the location of the store. Ricardi testified the West had said they made purchases from the Dollar General. He was looking for dates from September 12th, September 16th, September 20th, and September 22nd of 2022. Ricardi said the time on the videos was 2 to 4 minutes off, but the dates were correct. Regarding the September 12th footage, Ricardi saw Trezell West ride a bike, enter the store, and leave with a case of water. On September 16th, Ricardi said he saw Trezell park a van in the lot. He gets out, makes a purchase, and leaves. On the September 22nd footage, Trezell parks the van in the same area, gets items from the store, and leaves. The detective said he only saw Trezell, no one else in the footage on each date. Smith is playing surveillance footage. The video shows a white van pull up and a man who appears to be Trezell West enter the store. Ricardi again said he only saw Trezell West in the videos. He has been excused. Detective Stephen Pace has been called to the stand. He's with the Bakersfield Police Department. He was assigned to try to locate surveillance footage in this case. Pace went to Lassen's grocery store on California Avenue and was taken to the management office, where he was given a copy of a receipt of a transaction and video surveillance. The date of the footage was on December 5, 2020, Pace said. It was taken at 11:59 a.m. Prosecutor Eric Smith is playing the surveillance video. Trezell West leaves the store and walks towards the parking lot and out of camera view, according to Pace. Video taken inside the store shows a man identified by Pace as Trezell West in the checkout line at Lassen's. Trezell West completes a transaction and leaves. Pace testified he also retrieved surveillance footage from a Smart & Final store on Stockdale Highway He said Trezell West purchased a large quantity of items and left. The date was December 5th, 2020 at 12:38 p.m. Smith is playing video from the Smart and Final showing Trezell West entering the business, going to the checkout register. Pace testified he was given a receipt of what Trezell bought. Pace went to another Smart and Final on White Lane to get more footage. The manager gave Pace a receipt of Trezell West's purchases. Pace identified images of Trezell West entering the store. A video shows West at a cash register making a purchase, the detective said. Another location Pace went to was the Wooden Nickel. Trezell West made a purchase there, Pace said. Trezell West bought a knife and 2 side straps at the Wooden Nickel Trading Company, Pace said. Smith ended his questioning. Under cross-examination by Timothy Hennessy, Trezell West's lead attorney, Pace said West's debit card was used to make the purchase at the Wooden Nickel. Pace has been excused. Detective John Bildt has been called to the stand. He's with BPD. On January 5, 2020, Bildt wrote a search warrant for the West credit report. He submitted the warrant to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. From Equifax, Bildt found a home loan taken out in September of 2020 and the Strata overdraft protection. Bildt testified he received info taken off 2 Chromebooks. They were associated with 2 of the West's other children. On March 17, 2021, Bildt went to a location in Madera to get video surveillance. It's an AM/PM. The footage shows a white Ford Suburban pull into the parking lot and the West, a female juvenile, and another person get out. Smith is going to play the video. The vehicle that pulls up to the AM/PM is registered to Maria Martinez, Jacqueline West's mother. A woman who appears to be Jacqueline West gets out with a young girl and enters the store. Smith finished playing the video and ended his questioning of Bildt. Bildt has been excused. Louis James, a senior officer at the BPD, has been called to the stand. He's a task force officer with the Department of Homeland Security. On December 23, 2020, James went to Cal City to assist officers who were BPD liaison officers with the FBI. James wrote search warrants. His primary role while in Cal City was to write warrants, James said. James testified he wrote warrants for call detail records. James said he wrote warrants for 4 cell phone numbers related to the case. He sent the warrants to T-Mobile and Metro PCS. James said he asked for anything they can provide within the time frame he's looking for. The records he gets back are put on a CD and go to a lead investigator. James said he received call detail data from Metro PCS. Smith is showing some of the info received. One phone was connected to Jacqueline West. Another number also had Jacqueline West as the subscriber name. A document shows detailed records of outgoing and received phone calls. Some GPS and cell tower data is also on the form, James said. James noted one of the phones potentially switched SIM cards. James testified he wrote warrants for Instagram and Facebook. He authorized warrants for accounts connected to Trezell and Jacqueline West. James testified he requests info for a certain time frame, as he does when writing warrants for phone information. James said he briefly reviewed the records to make sure he had the correct accounts, and then they were provided to the FBI and other law enforcement. There were 2 phone numbers related to Trezell West and 2 related to Jacqueline West, for which he authored warrants, James said. Smith ended his questioning. Alexia Torres-Stallings, lead counsel for Jacqueline West, has begun cross-examination. James said he was in Cal City for about 5 days for the investigation. He did not author search warrants for the phones or social media of Orrin and Orson West's biological family. James testified the info he relied on for the warrants came from Cal City Police and the FBI. Smith asked if it's standard practice to rely on other investigators when authoring a warrant. James said yes, unless you're working a solo investigation. James has been excused. Clifton Taylor, a program specialist of the Kern County Department of Human Services, has taken the stand. He's reading a statement regarding confidentiality of records held in their possession. Who told you to read that? Judge Charles Brimmer asked. County Counsel, Taylor said. You will answer all questions or you will be held in contempt, Brimmer told him. Smith has begun his questioning of Taylor. Taylor previously worked in family reunification at the department. Taylor also worked in adoption services as recently as January. Taylor says a resource family is basically a foster family, someone who applies to care for a child in the child welfare system. Smith is displaying a form showing the 5 steps to become a resource family or foster parent. Taylor said you must attend an orientation, submit to criminal background tests, child abuse background checks, attend training, and have home inspected. Prospective families must go through a series of interviews of more in-depth analysis. There is no minimum income to become a foster parent, but you must show that you're self-sufficient, Taylor said. Other children in the home are usually interviewed when someone applies to adopt, Taylor said. He said you wouldn't be able to become a foster parent if money received from fostering children was your only source of income. Taylor said he's not aware of follow-ups on people to determine if they still have other income after they have foster children placed in their home. There are no guidelines as to how much a person must make to be deemed self-sufficient, Taylor said. Typically, money given for each foster child starts at $1,200 a month, Taylor said. Taylor testified there is typically an assigned social worker for each home. There will be a home visit to a resource family once a month by a social worker, Taylor said. On occasion, DNA samples are taken from foster children to establish paternity in juvenile court hearings. Foster children should have current photos in their case file, Taylor said. Smith asked if one of the foster children were to go missing, what means does DHS have to identify the child other than a photo? Taylor said he doesn't know if there is anything else. Medical records, perhaps? Foster children receive physicals usually on a yearly basis. If they're babies, they get them every couple months. Then the appointments start to spread out, Taylor said. Behavioral issues are also assessed once a year, Taylor said. Smith asked if there are any rules against providing photos of foster children to other family members. Taylor said he's not aware of any. To adopt a child, there is a series of interviews regarding the foster parents and if they have health issues, mental health issues, trauma from their childhood, and assessment of them, Taylor said. If a child can't reunite with their birth family, a permanent home is looked for, including with the foster family. The adoption process starts with reunification being ended. Then child is freed for adoption. Birth parents make appeals. Taylor said they also must send something to the state and get permission to move forward with the adoption. Then a meeting is set up to sign paperwork to adopt, filling out what birth certificate will look like and financial assistance they'll receive. A judge or juvenile court would make a decision that a child is now free to be adopted. From the time parental rights are terminated to a completed adoption takes a year to 18 months, Taylor said. Judge Charles R. Brimmer told the jury Taylor did nothing wrong when he cited certain codes before giving his testimony, and that the questioning of him won't go into areas he's not allowed to speak about due to confidentiality issues. Children are questioned if they would like to continue living in the foster home before they're adopted, if they enjoy living there. There's not a specific medical exam, but they do have annual exams that have to be completed to see if there are any developmental needs the child has, Taylor said. There are times when 2 families are competing to adopt the same child, Taylor said, but generally, the foster home where the child was placed will have the advantage. A judge is present for the adoption to make it legal, as it is a court proceeding, Taylor said. After adoption, there is minimal contact with the child and DHS. They're not actively monitored after that time, he said. There's no verification process Taylor is aware of to determine whether the stipend the adoptive parents get for the child is the sole source of income. Every 2 years, they must fill out paperwork to keep getting the stipend, Taylor said. The renewal of the stipend doesn't include a home visit. Generally, once an adoption is completed, you can't turn the child back into the state if there are issues, Taylor said. They're a counseling service they can link the family to, he said. If CPS removes the child from the home, the adoptive family would be responsible for child support, Taylor said. Asked about the Jamison Center, Taylor said it's temporary shelter in Kern County for children. They try not to have them there for more than a few days. The children taken in a criminal investigation would be placed in an emergency foster home or briefly in the Jamison Center, Taylor said. A judge would make an order to remove children from the home and what visitation the parents would have, Taylor said. Tori Stallings has begun cross-examination. Taylor said he's not aware of how many children in the foster system are Black, Hispanic, or white. He doesn't know the percentage of children who are Black or Hispanic who are reunited with their families. Across the board, it's about 50%, he said. Tori Stallings is going over the process when there is a referral to CPS. She asked how much time the parent has until a child is removed from their home. Taylor said once the warrant is signed, they do it immediately. There is no time frame. Recommendations to the judge will involve multiple social workers, Taylor said. The court social worker gets info from other social workers who investigate the referral. The judge then makes a determination. When a child is removed from a home, relatives would be considered for placement of the child. For example, if a boyfriend or husband was involved in an incident, the birth mother might be considered if she lived in another residence and had minimal contact with him. Taylor testified he has been to the Jamison Center 10 to 20 times. Under questioning by Tori Stallings, he said younger children are placed out of the center immediately, within hours. He said he believes the baseline for emergency foster care is 4 and under. Taylor said he is unaware of R-words and robberies at the Jamison Center. He is aware of assaults that occurred there. A sidebar has been called following an objection by Smith. Attorneys and judge are back. In a 14-day notice, a foster family can write something saying they can no longer have the child in their care. Taylor said the child may or may not be made aware of the reason why the family wants them to move. Once the notice is filed, the parents, child, and DHS and birth parents, if still involved, come together to discuss the issues and see what's best for the child, Taylor said. Tori Stallings asked what recourse the foster family has if they don't get along with the social worker assigned to them. Taylor said they could talk with a supervisor to work out issues or file a formal complaint. He said it would be unusual to have another social worker assigned. Part of the foster parent process requires looking for a criminal background, as well as checking them in a system called CACI, Child Abuse Central Index, to see if there is a substantiated allegation of child abuse against them in any state. Asked if he encounters families who say an adoption isn't working out, Taylor says yes. Taylor said DHS contracts with an agency for post-adoption services. They would no longer be directly involved. The family's point of contact would probably be Kern County Adoptions, and they would refer the family to the agency. Taylor testified he doesn't know if those requests by adoptive parents would be noted somewhere. The amount given to adoptive parents for a child changes each year. The rates go up, Taylor said. Children with a disability could get a special care increment, he said. Tori Stallings asked if children with those types of issues aren't as readily adopted. Taylor testified children with more issues are less likely to be adopted. Tori Stallings ended questioning. Taylor has been excused. Rosa Espinoza has been called to the stand. She is a manager of Casa Loma apartments on Lotus Lane. There are 8 apartments in each of the 14 buildings, she said. Espinoza testified Maria Martinez, Jacqueline West, lived in one of the apartments in 2020. She said she is aware Trezell and Jacqueline West had lived in one of the apartments. The West moved out of the apartment on September 24, 2020, Espinoza said. Smith is displaying photo of the exterior of the apartment complex. Espinoza identified a trash enclosure that has 2 bins inside it. After Trezell and Jacqueline West moved, the apartment was repainted and the carpet changed, she said. There was no complaints from other tenants, she said. Smith ended his questioning and Tori Stallings has begun cross-examination. The West made a maintenance request to fix the AC in the apartment sometime in September of 2018, Espinoza said. Espinoza testified she can't recall if they had maintenance requests in 2020 other than a carbon monoxide issue. Torres Stallings ended her questioning. Espinoza has been excused. Alfredo Biyaca has been called to the stand. He works at the Kern Regional Crime Lab. Biyaca said he takes photos and documents crime scenes. He is a criminalist, a scientist who uses scientific technique to test evidence brought to them by law enforcement. Biyaca testified they can go to a crime scene or process items such as a vehicle brought to the crime lab. They have vehicle exam bays. On December 23, 2020, Cal City requested the West van be examined at the crime lab, Biyaca said. Court is in recess until 9 a.m. tomorrow.